So, a Fox News alert, the search is underway for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. Here's what we know about the timeline of her disappearance. You can see about 9:30 to 9:45 Saturday, a family member drops Nancy off at her Arizona home. Then that's the last sighting we know so far. Then early Sunday morning, they're alerted that Nancy didn't show up at the church. Someone in the church notifies the family. The family then at 11 a.m. arrive home. They still haven't contacted law enforcement at this point. They're still searching for her. Then about 12 p.m., family called 911 and they officially report her missing. Then at 9 p.m., the sheriff does not rule out the foul play. And then approximately on Monday morning at 9 a.m., the sheriff confirms criminal activity. And then later that night on Monday, the sheriff said that they believe Nancy was taken from her bed. Savannah Guthrie is now asking for prayers for her mother, asking to bring her home. As the sheriff says, Nancy may have been abducted.
I believe she was abducted, yes. This is an 84-year-old lady who, in the middle of the night, while she's asleep, is taken from her home.
Joining us now are Lieutenant Randy Sutton, a law enforcement veteran who served 24 years with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, along with retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent James Gagliano. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining the program. Randy, I'll start with you. Based on what we heard from the press conference, it seems like, in law enforcement terms, that the sheriff was hinting at there may have been foul play based on the evidence that he's seen so far. What you make of that?
Yeah, I watched the press conference, and he was using terms that he was trying to dance around it. But eventually, the terms that he used were very telling. He talked about processing the scene. He talked about having homicide out there, and eventually he did say the words abduction. He did say that she was taken with basically by force. This is really a very unusual set of circumstances. Stranger abductions are very, very rare. Usually abductions that take place are family oriented. They're usually child custody disputes and things like that. For an 84-year-old woman to disappear from her home is extremely troubling. And now this is a real criminal investigation that is going to require all the resources of that county sheriff's department, as well as clearly the FBI has been brought in as well.
So, yeah, let's talk about some of those resources. James, you know this all too well. The BAU, Behavior Analysis Unit, they're probably already working up some type of profile here. Some of the terms that were used during the press conference also suggested that there was signs of a struggle. And they said that she was targeted, but they don't think that it was connected to Savannah. What evidence would lead the sheriff to make a statement like this? They said she wasn't targeted.
Lawrence,
I'm sorry.
First of all, we know that they have her cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we know that they have her cell phone, and the FBI's Cellular Analysis Survey Team is the group that would go through that. We also know that her wallet and purse and those kind of items that somebody would have taken with them if she had gone out. Look, we know two things, as Randy pointed out. We know that the sheriff is suggesting foul play was around, and also that she had sound mind. Many people 84 years old can wander out of their house. 600,000 people go missing every year. Most of them are rapidly relocated. But in this instance, this is odd. I always go to this real quickly. P.D. James was a British novelist who famously put it this way. Every murder comes down to the 4 L's. You have to look at love, lust, loathing, and lucre, or money. And that's what detectives are doing right now, trying to determine if any of those 4 things was involved here. The fact that they're crowdsourcing, that tells me they need the public's help.
So let's stick on that point. Randy, since we haven't heard anything about money in the sense of a ransom, do we rule that out, that she's being held hostage for money, or is it too early to eliminate that?
Well, we can't eliminate anything, but a ransom, a kidnapping with ransom, really, really unusual. I mean, it happens so rarely, and when you're talking about an individual who is in the public eye, if this was targeted in some way as a form of retribution or terrorism against the family of someone who is a celebrity. It would make it even more unusual because to try and actually obtain money under these circumstances is really, really difficult. So I don't believe that that's what it is. I unfortunately also believe that they didn't have the homicide unit out there for nothing. They found forensic evidence, and this is one of the great things about the FBI is they have an incredible forensic unit that would be processed. That would help process that scene.
Well, it's not just an incredible unit, but they process things very fast, and they have all the tools in those labs to get those results very quickly. James, I'll end with you. There's been some talk about it being so close to the border. What impact will that have on this investigation?
Well, it'll certainly impact. And Lawrence, you pointed out the FBI's evidence response team, which will be the crews that will be helping the Pima County Sheriff and the local police out there. It'll be a collective, collaborative effort. Keep in mind, the crime scene per se, it's a 3,100 square foot house in a fairly well-to-do neighborhood, but it is quite rural, as you can see from the photos that are up on the screen now. So they're going to start with concentric circles. Immediately in the house, work out from that. And Lawrence, I think the margin of victory could prove to be that cell phone. If they can access that cell phone, do a digital forensic dump on it, that may lead to clues. Was this something over the border? Was this, as Randy pointed out, a family member? Or was it somebody recently, released from prison, from one of the local jails, one of the, federal penitentiaries close by? Could it have been somebody like that? Lots of work ahead.
It's really hard to get away with something like this with all the modern technology. Randy, James, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.